Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our spiritual home, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. We're glad to have you with us today. My name is Barbara Rosen, and I serve on our Board of Trustees, and I'm serving as your worship associate today. We are a church of many welcomes, and we offer a warm welcome to all of you. This is a liberal community for all ages, promoting spiritual growth, social justice, and the arts. As such, ours is an active church, and everyone is invited to participate in any of our activities. To learn more about events, our church calendar is on our website, uutarpon.org, or we'd be happy to talk with you during the coffee hour. Our children are with us today at the beginning of the service, and currently we have faith formation programming available with our gifted leader, Jami Cruz. Children gather for their time together with her after the story. If you'd like more information about our programming, please see her after the service or contact Reverend Kristina. For those present with us in the building, we have connection cards available in the pews and in some of the hymnals by the chairs. If you fill one out and put it in the offering plate or give it to one of our greeters, we will be able to keep in touch with you. If you're watching us on Zoom or YouTube, you can send us an email at membership@uutarpon.org to get connected. There are also small cards to write any joys or concerns that you would like to share with us if you prefer to do it in writing. We are delighted to have Bonnie Whitehurst leading the service today and bringing her music. Again, welcome. Our opening hymn is "When in Our Music," number 36 in the Gray Hymnal.
When in our music God is glorified, and adoration leaves no room for pride. It is as though the whole creation cried, Alleluia. How often making music we have found a new dimension to this world of sound, as worship moves us to a more profound Alleluia. So has the church in liturgy and song, in faith and love through centuries of wrong, borne witness to the truth in every tongue. Alleluia. Let every instrument be tuned for praise. Let all rejoice who have a voice to raise. And may God give us faith to sing always. Alleluia.
Who is the person that has most influenced you in your life? Who is your hero? Who deserves the most credit for your success? Who is your role model? When young people apply for college, or those of us a bit older apply for a highly coveted position in the workplace or in our field, an interviewer might ask us about the influences in our lives. What should you say? Who would you name as a hero or influential person? These days, it might be called an influencer, a term that is first used in 1662. Who knew? There's no right answer other than a sincere answer. Sometimes an influential person isn't always a positive example. You may have grown and changed as a result of someone whose mistakes or inappropriate behavior taught you what not to do with your life. Answers to this question can have a lot of different options. For most of us, parents and siblings have a huge effect upon our lives. Therefore, this answer is perfectly appropriate. Is there a particular teacher who got you excited about learning, about a subject area, or your continuing education? How about a friend? For good or bad, your close friends have a huge influence on your decisions and behavior. Do you have a close friend who has helped guide you in any way? A coach often teaches leadership, responsibility, and teamwork. A really good coach helps you succeed in other areas besides sports. Perhaps you have a life coach who helps advise and guide you. How about a community member, someone from a church or other community organization? Community members often teach us to think outside the narrow sphere of our families and close friends. Now, a few answers can fall flat, so think twice about giving responses like these. Myself. In truth, you probably are the person who is most responsible for your success. But an answer like this makes one sound self-absorbed, narcissistic, and selfish. Colleges and corporations want students and employees who help each other out and work as a community. They don't want solitary egotists. Gandhi or Abe Lincoln. In your day-to-day life, activities, and relationships, is Abe Lincoln really influencing your choices and behavior? Donald Trump or Barack Obama. Are they guiding your day-to-day life? These are dangerous answers because the interviewer may be of a different political party than you. How about God? If you are interviewing at a religious college or applying for a position at St. Vincent de Paul or Metropolitan Ministries, God could be a fine answer. However, some interviewers may be skeptical of those who attribute their successes to prayer and divine guidance, rather than commitment and hard work. My dog. Fido might have taught you responsibility and unconditional love, but keep your answers in the world of humans. Whatever your answer, bring that person to life for the interviewer. Keep in mind that a strong answer provides a window into your life and personality, as well as the admirable qualities of the influential person.
We light our chalice with these words from Marnie Singer. The chalice is the container, the space where the musicians and the listeners gather. The oil is the fuel, the hours of practice and life experiences of everyone in the room. The wick is the instrument and vocal cords which through the music will flow. And the flame is the music which created as if by magic. When the instruments are lifted, the breath is inhaled, and the downbeat is nodded. May this flame ignite the music within us all. And now we will sing Spirit of Life, number 123 in the Gray Hymnal.
And our book, Story for All Ages, is Henry the Steinway and the Piano Recital. Every spring, Miss Yuriko's students present their annual piano recital at the famous Steinway Hall. Now, children, May 1st is our special day, only 1 week away. It's very important to concentrate on your music and practice, practice, practice. Anna stared out the tall window in Miss Yuriko's studio. It was still gently raining. For the first time, Anna noticed the tiny green leaves on all the trees and a fluffy nest with blue eggs in it. Anna looked forward to putting on her red boots and going puddle hopping. She was not looking forward to the spring recital. Anna, it's your turn to play, said Miss Yuriko. Startled from her daydream, Anna wished that she could hide. Instead, she took her place at the grand piano and started to play. Oh, what a disaster! She forgot all the notes. She forgot to count the rhythm. She forgot everything and could not play her music. The room became very quiet. All the children looked down at the floor. Miss Yuriko's glasses slid to the end of her nose as she closed her music folder. Anna, you must practice every day. Concentrate on your music. There is no time to waste. On her way home, Anna stomped and splashed in every puddle. Her face still felt hot with shame. How could she forget the music? How could she forget to count the rhythms? How could she forget everything? Anna hung her dripping slicker in the hall closet and placed her muddy boots on the mat. She headed straight to her father's big black piano. She looked at all the framed photographs of her father playing in concert. He was a famous pianist and often traveled all over the world. Anna saw her piece, Für Elise, on the music desk. She sat down on the bench and began to play. Anna tried to concentrate and focus on the music. She remembered what Miss Yuriko said, but the notes still came out all wrong. That's it. Anna hung her head and began to cry. Great big tears rolled down her cheeks and fell onto the keyboard. Anna's tiny shoulders heaved and she sobbed. "Oh, this is hopeless. Recitals are stupid. I just can't play." Got it. "Excuse me, Anna dear, you'll get me all wet." Anna sat bolt upright and to her astonishment watched the piano give her a quick wink and a smile. Anna whispered quietly, "What did you say?" "I said that you'll get me all wet, and everyone knows that water and Steinways do not mix. My name is Henry, by the way, Henry the Steinway." "I'm sorry if I've gotten you all wet, Mr. Steinway. I just can't seem to play this piece. Please call me Henry. What seems to be the problem?" "No matter how hard I try, Henry, it just doesn't sound right. I will never be ready for the recital next week. I think I am just going to quit playing the piano." "Quit? Nonsense. Why, you were born to make beautiful music." "No, Henry, I think you were born to make beautiful music. You're the concert grand piano. I'm just a little girl who can't even play Für Elise." Now, Anna, there's a special something about each one of us. When I was born at the Steinway factory, I was just another plain black grand piano. I did not even have a name in those days. They just called me Model D. So many other Steinways were far more beautiful. They were magnificently carved and made from rare, exotic woods. It was hard to feel special. I didn't think my music would ever be very beautiful compared to theirs. But then something wonderful happened. I remember the day your father came into the Steinway & Sons to select a piano for his famous world tour. All the Model Ds were lined up for him to try. He sat down at my keyboard, his fingers touched my keys, and I felt the music vibrate in his heart. Something in both of us came alive. After playing for several minutes, he told Mr. Ron, the concert technician, that I had a unique quality, just the right touch, feel, and sound. That was a very special day for me, and your recital next week will be a very special day for you too, Anna. "Oh, I don't know, Henry. It just seems that I can't play a single note. How can I learn to make beautiful music?" "First, you must really hear the music, Anna. Listen." Henry played the first part of the piece all by himself. His keys moved up and down, his hammer struck his strings, and his soundboard sang out. Anna closed her eyes and really listened to the music. "Now you must find the music, Anna." "Why, it's right here on the music desk," Anna replied. "Yes, Anna, that's what the music looks like when it's written down. However, you must find the music inside you. Look deep within your heart. Now let's play the piece together." Anna concentrated very hard. First, she heard the music in her head and moved her fingers. She sang out loud as she played. Then she felt the deep music within her heart and played so much better. "Henry, you've really helped me. Tomorrow we'll work on the next part," he said. All week long, the rain continued, soft, gentle April showers. Anna watched the trees leaf out and the tulips open. It was a great week for puddle hopping, red boots and big umbrellas. Anna could not wait for the school bell to ring each day so she could race home and upstairs to play with Henry, and he was always waiting for her. Together they practiced phrase by phrase. "Anna, are you sure you want to play that note? Why not try this one instead?" Henry would then show her the correct note and smile when she got it right. Anna, are you sure you want to play that part so loudly? Why not try it just a little bit softer? Henry suggested. Every day, Anna played a little bit better than the day before. Her confidence grew, and she actually started to look forward to Saturday's recital. Thank you very much for your help, Henry. You are my best friend. She leaned over and gave him a little kiss right above middle C. The day before the big recital, Anna began to feel a little nervous. What if she overslept, or her shoes were too tight, or she simply could not play the music? Anna splashed home in her bright red boots, thinking about the music all the way. Well, maybe she should just wear her red boots in the recital. She thought how funny that would look and laughed out loud. Anna bounded up the stairs, taking 2 steps at a time. Henry, I just couldn't stop thinking about the recital all day. I guess I'm a little nervous. I'm so glad we'll be together playing tomorrow. Now, Anna, we have accomplished a great deal together this week. And really, you have learned to listen to the music and play from your heart. But tomorrow, you will be playing another grand piano, one that is already waiting for you in the recital hall. Henry, I can't play in front of all those people without you. I might forget the notes again. You know I play better at home when it's just you and me. Anna, as long as you remember what I taught you, I will always be there for you. You are ready. Remember to find the music in your heart, and you won't be afraid. But Anna was afraid anyway. On the morning of the recital, the sun shone brightly through Anna's window. Not a single cloud lingered in the sky. Anna slipped on her new lavender dress with a starched white collar and pearl rabbit buttons. She fastened the buckles on her shiny new shoes and tied silk ribbons in her hair. There was a gentle knock on her bedroom door. "How's my favorite girl? Daddy, you're home. I thought you were still on your concert tour." "I wouldn't miss your special day, sweetheart. Let's go." Hand in hand, they walked through Central Park to Steinway Hall. There, Anna met Miss Yuriko and all the other children. Excitement filled the air. Vases of flowers were everywhere, and paintings of famous pianists lined the walls. All the children were in their finest clothes, beautiful dresses and handsome suits. They fidgeted in their new shoes and tight collars. Anna sat perfectly still. She was thinking about everything Henry had taught her. When it was her turn to play, Anna walked slowly to the piano and sat up very straight on the bench. She placed her hands on the keyboard and took a deep breath. The room was perfectly still, and all eyes were on Anna. Then a terrible thing happened. She could not remember the notes. She could not remember how to count the rhythms. She could not remember anything. Just as she was about to give up, Henry's face magically appeared in this piano. He gave her a quick wink and a smile, and just like that, they practiced at home, and Anna started to hear the music in her head. Now she knew she could do it. Her fingers lightly touched the keys, and the music flowed from her heart. And when she finished her piece, the audience began to applaud. No one clapped harder than Anna's father. He presented her with a bouquet of miniature roses. Miss Yuriko took her photograph, and all the children cheered. Anna bowed gracefully and walked back to her seat. She smiled so brightly it looked like she swallowed the sun. That night, Anna's father tucked her in bed. "You played very well today, Anna. I am so proud of you." "Oh, I couldn't have done it without Henry. He helped me practice every day. He taught me how to listen to music and find it in my heart. I see his face on the keyboard when I play." Anna's father laughed. "So you see Henry too. No matter where I perform in the world, I always see his friendly face every time I'm ready to play." Then her father kissed her goodnight and closed the door. Anna thought about her recital. She couldn't wait until tomorrow to practice her new music with Henry. She crept out of bed and quietly entered the music room. She leaned over and gave him a little kiss right above middle C. "Thank you, Henry the Steinway. You are my best friend." Henry just gave her a quick wink, a smile, and said, "Good night."
And now we will sing Go in Peace, number 413 in the Gray Book.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Now is the time in the service where we take our offering for the work and welfare of this church. Ours is a free faith which must sustain itself financially. Please go to our website, uutarpon.org, and click the donate button, or you may mail your offering to the church at 57 Reed Street, Tarpon Springs, Florida, 34689. For those of you with us in person in the sanctuary, place your offering in the offering plates as they are passed. Music is Winter Nocturne by Vandal. moment of silence, and a reflection called Ode to a Piano Teacher from a blogger named Kristina in China.
Yesterday, my dad hauled all my old piano books and folders of music halfway around the world and brought them to me. I sat down at the beautiful upright piano my husband had bought me a little over a year ago, but have barely had time to play. And I leafed through the familiar pages for a while, fingering old pieces, playing through entire sonatas, remembering again the feeling I used to have when I could really play. I thought of you almost the entire time I sat there, my head filled with the grand sweeps of the music, or fast and furious finger maneuvers that I once worked so hard to learn. It was as though you were sitting just to my left, but a little behind, watching and listening and talking quietly in my ear. It was moments like this, puttering in your studio or rummaging in the laundry, but you always had an ear cocked and always somehow were able to know exactly which note I missed or what fingering needed work. I thought of you and how your own hands, hindered by a stroke, can no longer move over the milk-colored keys, washing them with your own emotions and years of hard-earned skill. Your hands now still for over a decade. I know they must ache to scamper with fury or slow and sweet caressing over that ivory board. And I know that it must be more than just the activity of your hands that you long for, because music is so much more than an exercise in your life and in the life of anyone who loves it. And you are a lover of music. You are a lover of life, of the many things that make up a life. You have loved hard and loved well, and I am one bearer of the fruits of that love. Me, sitting here in my apartment in China, playing songs that echo in your ears too. If only you could hear them with me now. I thought of you as I played because it is as though your hands lie like ghost fingers with mine as they move up and down the lines of black and white. Mine held up by yours, and mine able to live only because of the life you gave them. It was such a picture of who God is to us as I thought of you laboring over me as a teacher, the way I would never have been able to achieve any of the joys I now know as a pianist. If it wasn't for your training and teaching and showing me the way, often pushing me beyond the limits of what I thought I could do, and certainly beyond whatever I would have done were I left to my own devices, this to me is an act of grace. Sitting here today, relishing in the uncovering of a line of Bach that came shakily, but grew in strength as the minutes passed, I was thankful for you and all you had given. I know that the days now must seem smaller than they once were, must seem longer and perhaps emptier or just quieter. Yet I am full now with thoughts of you and pray you may be blessed from the tips of your still fingers to the bottoms of your toes, knowing that your life matters much, both now and forevermore. Have you ever been asked, Have you ever been asked to consider who has been the most influential person in your life? Was it a relative, a teacher, a neighbor, a friend? Mine was my piano teacher, Mrs. Westman. I have her to thank for my lifelong career in music and my love of the piano. Nancy Westman was the finest piano teacher I ever had. She became my instructor when I was in the 3rd grade. I came to her with 5 years' worth of bad habits from 2 earlier piano teachers. Our partnership lasted until my junior year of college, when I had to transfer to another university. Our lessons ended, that is, but not our personal ties. We were close until her death. Now, one of my previous teachers, Mrs. Rosshaven, played every instrument except harp and tuba in her family's traveling dance band. So, as a 7-year-old, I learned songs like this. The night is like a lovely tune. Beware, my foolish heart. How white the ever-constant moon. Take care, my foolish heart. I can't show my face, can't go any place. People stop and stare. It's so hard to bear. Everybody knows you left me. It's the talk of the town. Allegheny moon, I need your light to help me find romance tonight. So shine, shine, shine. Mrs. Rosshaven was a good musician. In fact, she was our church organist. But she wasn't very fussy about her students' repertoire or technique. Her retirement to Florida and a career change, becoming a handwriting analysis expert, still dealing with the hands, left me without an instructor. Looking for a new piano teacher, my mother found Mrs. Westman, the finest teacher in the area. She required all of her students 2 lessons a week and serious study of the classical repertoire. Mrs. Westman was a teacher and a mentor. She would say, "Honey lamb, make the melody sing. Sugar plum, establish good fingering. Sweetie, play with your whole body." Now, the veins in the backs of Mrs. Westman's hands were thick and blue. I thought it was because she played so much, so I practiced several hours a day, hoping mine would become as prominent as hers. It would show that I was a serious student. Now, in my 60s, I think protruding veins in one's hands are most likely a part of the aging process. As I progressed in my music skills, Mrs. Westman urged me to join organizations that supported budding young pianists, such as Junior St. Cecilia, Student Musicale, and Senior St. Cecilia. The meetings were held at Woodside Church, a very architecturally interesting building in Flint, Michigan, still being used today. The best students of all the certified piano teachers in the area were members of these organizations and competed for scholarships and state festivals. Amazingly, I began to win some of these competitions. It took many extra lessons to groom my skills. At 6 a.m., my mother would drive me to Mrs. Westman's home. And after these early morning sessions, she would feed me breakfast and drive me to school. With 40 to 60 students at any given time, she started her teaching very early in the morning and taught late into the evening. I cannot even remember a time when she wasn't drinking a cup of coffee. Mrs. Westman kept manicure scissors next to the piano and would cut my fingernails when they clicked on the keys. I believe that's why my nails don't grow today. But it's a small price to pay for everything she did for me. Mrs. Westman herself traveled to Michigan State University monthly to take piano lessons from Professor Evans. How could anyone know more about playing the piano than she did? When I had a competition coming up, she would drive me to Michigan State so that I could use her lesson time to polish my interpretations. I loved the piano lessons closest to Christmas. We students would have our choice of eggnog or cranberry juice and homemade cookies, and only a little piano playing would occur after pleasant conversation about how we were going to be spending our holiday time. Almost all of my memories with Mrs. Westman are good ones, but there's one difficult event that I specifically recall. I was giving a recital of gratitude to an organization that had awarded me a nice scholarship to Interlochen National Music Camp in Traverse City, Michigan. The week leading up to the performance had been a tough one. The mayor of our little town and the family dentist wrote tender letters to his wife and children, who were my classmates and friends. He drove to Alan's funeral home and shot himself in the head upon learning he had an inoperable brain tumor. A few days later, one of my friends since childhood was robbed and murdered at a local expressway gas station where he worked alone in the evenings. During the recital that Sunday afternoon, I could not clear my mind of the tragic events of the week, and I had memory lapses in some of my pieces. I recovered and went on to finish the program, but afterwards there was only light and polite applause. When it was over, no one in the audience came near me, as if to say, "Wow, we gave this pathetic pianist a scholarship?" Keep in mind, it was a small town. I was an emotional teenager. I completely broke down crying from the strain. Mrs. Westman took me to Bill Knapp's restaurant, and over a pot of tea and some biscuits, she comforted my sobbing and nose blowing. She could always make me feel so much better about everything. When I was selected to be an exchange student to Finland, Mrs. Westman made sure I learned music by Jan Sibelius, a famous Finnish composer, so I could play it for the people in the town where I lived. She also played music for my wedding. She was always there with me at life's most important moments. Tragedy struck Mrs. Westman shortly after I moved to Florida. She contracted some kind of a virus in her eyes that the doctors misdiagnosed, and literally within a week, she went completely blind. At that time, she was still teaching dozens of students. Her husband had died, so she moved to a convalescent home, took one of her pianos with her, and continued to play for herself and the residents. One of her exceptional former students, then in law school, arranged his schedule to give her lessons at the convalescent home. She never gave up playing and learning and her very positive attitude, and she never seemed bitter about the needless loss of her eyesight. We would talk on the phone frequently between Florida and Michigan. Every summer when I returned to Fenton, our hometown, I would spend at least one afternoon with Mrs. Westman. Some months after we saw one another, It was Groundhog Day, 2007. I was playing a private party at the Villages in Lady Lake, Florida. I finished packing up my van and looked at the sky. It was yellow and full of dark clouds. A tornado was on the way. Struggling to make it home on I-75 near Sumterville, I heard the radio say, "Take cover in your bathtub and place something over your head." I didn't know whether I should stop somewhere or keep going and try to drive out of the bad weather. I kept on going. Over 1,300 homes were flattened or damaged in and around the Villages, and 21 people were killed that night. It was national news. Mrs. Westman called me early the next morning to make sure I was all right. She was such a caring person. Eventually, she went to live with one of her sons in Texas, and then the other one in Ohio, where she finally died. The family let me know of their mother's passing and sent me the lovely article about her from the newspaper. I'm certain all her former students gained a deep appreciation and love for the piano and the greatest music ever written for it. More importantly, we had a tireless, unselfish, and compassionate mentor who loved us no matter how much we had practiced between lessons. Now, at 67 years old, I still play music for a living. My repertoire embraces many other genres besides classical music, and piano is just one of the instruments I play in performance. My keyboard technique is no longer as precise as it was in high school and college, but each time my fingers touch the keys, I hear Mrs. Westman's voice. "Honey lamb, play with your entire body. Establish good fingering. Sugar pie, keep your fingers close to the keys. Make the melody sing. That's it, Bonnie darling. You've got it, sweetie."
We hope you found meaning in today's service. We close with these words from Becky Laurent. As flame is to spirit, so spirit is to breath, and breath to song. Though we extinguish the flame in this sanctuary, may we tend it in our hearts until we meet again. And Jean will,
No.
do you have a piece?
We were supposed to have the closing hymn
Okay,
and closing words.
yes, so now we will proceed as usual.
Our closing hymn is number 1059 in the Teal hymnal, 1059. May your life be as a song. As you're getting the page ready, I will play it through one time. Let's sing it together 2 times through. May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the night and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. May I'll do the closing words and then a closing music. So who is the person that you can thank for inspiring you to be who you are, what you are, and where you are in your life? Have you been reflecting back over the decades to a special person? I hope you share that part of your life story with someone today at the coffee hour after the service. And now I will play the closing music, the first arabesque by Debussy.
That was